When you hear the New World Order dropped as a term, as George Bush Sr. did, he'd been CIA head, he was also a Yale graduate, and they're interlocking secret societies. Both Bush Sr. and his son are members of a Yale secret society called Skull and Bones, and it links back to England. There are many inner circles, and C.S. Lewis gave a talk called The Inner Circle. But there's another, let me throw out another thing. We've talked about the vampires, we've talked about the anti-morality of the people in They Live, that we're going to get to in Eyes Wide Shut, rather the anti-morality of the people in Eyes Wide Shut that Kubrick said, behold your masters. And we have a little lecture given in the mansion of a billionaire nearby, and Tom Cruise is being lectured on the fact that, my friend, if you want to live, you'd better forget everything you saw. Because if you don't, you're going to be taken out by, it may look like a car accident on the street, it may be anything, but you're so easy to be taken out you can't imagine. The rules are different. This is a mean world. If you're in a chess game for the world, you're going to sacrifice more than a pawn or a rook to get the entire world. If it takes a devastating thing to bring about what you want, hey, you're going to do it. Let me talk about a chess piece. The plans for a new American century at the Pentagon during the Bush era. In their document, they said it would probably take quite a while to bring about the sort of change they're looking for, the new American century. Absent from something of a catastrophic nature on the level of Pearl Harbor. And something like that could justify, well, things like the Patriot Act maybe, or shredding the Constitution, or police state stuff, or changing the configuration of America so in 10 years you can't even recognize it compared to what it was. And there's always the fact that in the public education they can sort of redo the history books like Orwell pointed out in his Ministry of Truth. So young people who can barely read anyway wouldn't know what constitutional limitations were anyway, or what America was like at another time. They would not have a clue what they're losing. Chess move. I'll move my queen and I'll get your rook and your castle and I'm going to checkmate you, but I have to actually sacrifice some things. In Pearl Harbor, of course, when that was attacked, we lost Pearl Harbor. A Pearl Harbor-like event. Oh, by the way, there's enough books illustrating that our government had pre-warning the attack was coming along, and they would use that to enter America into World War II. There's so much we don't see. There is evidence that there were people that knew that 9/11 was coming. Don't want to get into it now. There's a big elephant in America's living room. And keeping the sheeple dumbed down is a big deal. Let me throw out another movie that's interesting. It's a B-grade sci-fi. I saw it and it blew my mind. It's called They Live. Science fiction. Well, maybe. Interesting plot. In there, a construction worker in kind of what America's going to become. Kind of a super depression going on. People out of work. This hardworking guy gets a job on a construction site. He's got nowhere to live. And so his comrade says, hey, you know, here's a homeless field here. You can get a tent. They serve food. hang out here. In They Live, there's a television that's on 24 hours a day, and at night, all of a sudden, they get another broadcast overriding the public broadcast, and it's a pirate. And it's a guy saying, he's warning the people, he said, you know, you're under mind control. What you see is not reality. They have almost taken over America. It's a classic paranoid ruse where you think, this is whacked out. The next thing the construction worker sees is a big SWAT raid on the church right across the street. Well, that's weird. Suspicions that the pirate broadcast came from within there. The cops leave. And the main character is played by Roddy Piper, a TV wrestler from a previous era, rugged sort of dude, and he goes in there, and he finds these boxes of sunglasses, and that's kind of odd. And he goes outside, and he has a wake-up. His mind is blown. Here's why. He puts on the glasses, and everything he thought was the ordinary world, all that changes on him. All of a sudden, he's walking down the street with his glasses on, and what had been maybe a big sign for real estate or buy Marlboro cigarettes or go to this hotel group, go to the Hilton here in Monaco or wherever, all the signs become blank, and he says, breed. He sees it, big bold letters, breed. Don't think for yourself. Watch TV. Basically, stay hypnotized. Stay dumbed down. I mean, in other words, these are subliminal slogans that jump into people's mind who don't see the programming, and they are being programmed. And then he looks out, and he sees the big crowd on the street. And in there may be, that's an alien. That's someone that looks like a human, but something's different about this guy. It's not a normal human being. He walks by one, and he hears them sort of talking to their own group. Oh, they're networked. I mean, beyond cell phones, they're networked with their own. It's kind of a hive metaphor. Here's a hive interpenetrating our world. No one sees it. And they're calling the shots in industry and everything else. And you think, pretty powerful metaphor for a secretive group controlling the world. They live, including using the media and using a giant broadcast station where they've got a transmission that affects people directly, where they can't see who these aliens are. They're sort of spoon-fed the reality that they're supposed to see. They Live. Interesting film. And you just say, Carpenter, the Hollywood director, producer, did that, and you think, well, I don't know whether he's trying to say something, but it's real interesting.